Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to get underway.
No.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coming of Age.
Welcome.
These are the Legion Minisodes.
Chapter 13.
Chapter 13. We just watched it. It was fucking fantastic.
As always.
We are the voices in your head. This is Chase Cummins.
And that is Alan Loosebrock.
And I mean, okay, all you need to know for this episode, really, you watch the show, obviously, but I'm talking to you. I'm kidding.
Yes, I watched this show.
Is that Lenny? Lenny shows up at the end of the last episode.
Yes.
And it's just like, I'm back. It's like, what the hell?
The way she says it, too.
Yeah. So this episode kind of focuses on Lenny.
I would say exclusively.
Yeah. But other characters are interacting with it instead of it kind of being just like Sid's episode where it's like, just Sid and David's around trying to figure shit out. But the fucking beginning of the episode says, apparently on Legion. That's how it intros the show.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah.
It's John Hamm, and it sounds like he's just started watching the show and he doesn't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
Apparently on Legion.
And then it's like showing it's showing all the scenes from like Lenny's scenes pretty much throughout the series. And so we get in this room and it's got a skylight in it, you think, with like all these buildings, or like, what is it? You think it's not even skylight, it's like a floor skylight.
Yeah, it looks like it's looking down onto all these buildings. Almost for a second I was like, it just looks like one of those projected images from
for sure.
the Admiral Fukuyama's room.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the camera starts moving and then it's not.
And then Hamish Linklater and Lenny walk through the door, and like it's upside down door. It's so weird.
It's very bizarre. Because the words are right side up, and then as the camera move starts like actually turning upright, and then Hamish Linklater walks in, you realize the words when the camera's upright are upside down, and then it's just like disorienting. The room is disorienting.
Yeah, for sure. And Lenny's like, this is like uncomfortable. Like, this room's crazy.
Yeah. She's like, are you guys like reversing gravity right now? Or
yeah. Oh my God. But this is very similar to the scene in the first season, like the first episode pretty much, where he's asking David questions. It's like he's setting out everything and
with Hamish Linklater.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
At that point in the show, he comes across as being this kind of earnest, curious, like he wants to help David. He wants to help, like he wants to figure out what's actually going on with him, kind of like he's the good cop.
Well, he wants David to think that.
Yeah, but he comes across to you at that moment in the show as the good cop. Like you think that's what he is. And then now in the show, as they're mirroring that first episode, we know he's not necessarily the good cop. He's the jaded, pessimistic cop.
Yeah, and he just gets like down to the point, like immediately with her, because she's just talking about crazy shit.
Yeah, just keeps insisting.
Just talking about like drugs and like just a bunch of shit like that. And he's like, I just want to know how someone who's dead comes back to life, pretty much. Like, that's all I want to know.
Yeah, something we're all asking.
And I don't know, it's so strange, like the way she is acting like she doesn't know anything, but I feel like there's a line that she's like, even like, I know, like, and he's just like, God damn it, what the fuck is this girl? And he leaves her, and then he asks her if she's the Shadow King. Yeah. He's like, are you the Shadow King? Like, you motherfucker. And he's kind of right, you find out.
Kind of, yeah. we'll get into
Shadow
that.
King's doing crazy shit.
We'll get into what we find out.
He's back. He's back to his old ways. I thought he's being kind of a nice guy for a second there.
Back to his old ways is an understatement.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. She tells Hamish Linklater, what the fuck are we supposed to call that guy? The interrogator?
He's the interrogator.
But like no one knows him as that. They don't say it in the show.
But they don't address him by anything in the show.
Yeah, but he is the interrogator. It's literally what he's doing.
Yeah, every scene he's in.
It's pretty great. She tells him that she was sent there to tell him that like Farouk knows where the body is or something like that. I think that's later on when she tells that to David, but she does say that to Hamish Linklater. She said that Farouk knows where the body is.
Yeah. Or when he starts to walk out of the room and she's like, don't leave. Kind of pleading her case. Yeah.
And then the show opens up and it has the fucking like crazy ass shot flipping again, doing a bunch of crazy shit.
I love that camera shot.
And it's Oliver's car driving through the desert and the fucking Legion is on the license plate, which is so badass.
Can we say talk for a second about how that camera shot does that? Because it's crazy. I don't even know how to describe it necessarily. Like it moves back up to the ceiling and you've got that grid pattern, right? And then it starts moving into the grid and it's the road and the music's playing in the room and then it starts pushing into the screen, which then ultimately becomes the scene in the film. But like the camera move is so disorienting. It doesn't play out as simply as that description is. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is fucking crazy.
The whole time I was because it looked to me for a while like it was practical, like they had it projected, and then at some point it like seamlessly cut into the actual camera move, so it looked like it just pushed through the ceiling into the scene. It was awesome.
It was so good. Yeah, no, they're so fucking creative with the way they just introduce the title of the show.
Oh, for sure.
Everything's so fucking awesome. That's the coolest concept for like a show to just do instead of the same old shit.
There's I think no one could say about the show that it's not creative.
Yeah. How many other shows do that though? Like where the intro is like different.
I honestly
like Monty Python, but they have a theme still. But they would start their show with that guy.
Yeah. It's
just saying it's not as creative, but it's very funny.
It's hilarious. Only did it in and out to something completely different as an intro sometimes as well.
Yeah,
but I don't know any other show that it would be in the realm of what Legion is, like a week to week drama, like a serial show like that does intros. Like
is that what we're calling it now? A drama?
I don't know the fuck you call it. What else do you call it?
Sci-fi.
Still a drama.
Sci-fi drama. Action-packed.
Action, adventure, science fiction, drama show.
It's so good. God damn it. This episode like left me like, fuck. Like I want to watch it again. It was so good.
It was so good. But I will say that this episode left me like, whoa, I don't know where the fuck this show's going to go. And the stay tuned sequence made me...
The stay tuned sequence made me think that this episode was very tame and I was fine.
Yeah. I just... It stumped me. When I saw the stay tuned, that's what stumped me.
Yes.
It changed everything. Anyways.
Oh my God. Okay, so Farouk and Oliver... introduces just Oliver's in the car. You know how things go. Farouk just shows up.
Yeah,
he's in there.
Just there.
He's in there too, and they're talking about like, he's talking about the beauty of the plan because Oliver's wanting to know like how this thing is going to go down, like is it going to be like a casket? Is it going to be like what is this going to be like?
Are we going to go to a mausoleum? Is it a sarcophagus made of gold?
Yeah.
I think those are all things he says. He's really just trying to figure out if he's going to have to get dirty or not in his new suit.
Yeah, exactly, which is so good. It's like saying there will be dirt and bugs
and beetles
and you have to be digging. He's like, oh no. I love it. So good. And he's like, but the sunset will be so beautiful. And he's like just being a dick. Like he makes Oliver do a bunch of work when they're digging it up. And then he's just like, oh, this is taking too long.
Yeah.
And just levitates that shit out of there.
Oliver looks so annoyed too. Oh, it's hilarious.
And God, it's crazy as fuck.
I love the conversations between Farouk and Oliver in this episode.
Oh,
there were quite a bit.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been like craving some Oliver. Oliver's so good.
He got a little bit more in this episode, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, he also like showed some the badass side of him, like fucking bowing up to Shadow King.
Yeah. Well, and just the way he hunted down Katie Aselton.
That was the most haunting fucking sequence.
It was crazy.
It was so fucking haunting.
It was so haunting.
I loved it.
The way they shot it was so surreal and beautiful. And like it took this moment to just like make a larger statement about life before it moved on with even more crazy shit.
It was absolutely fucking insane. All the music that they use in this show has been so helpful too.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, I am so in. I am in this.
Great soundtrack.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Did you notice how there was the scene when Lenny's in holding and she's laying on the table and the camera to that music like comes over her head and it like lines up with her. And then they did something really similar when Katie Aselton was laying on the table at the end.
Yes, yeah, they did.
And they like it was like they just did like a familiar image kind of thing, but it was really motivated, I think, when you find out what happens.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Yeah.
It was just I noticed that and I was like, that's fucking awesome. And the first time I saw the shot, not knowing it was going to come back, I thought it was a fucking like one of the best shots in the show. The way it moved with the music. For what song it was playing.
Yeah, no, I remember like being like very intrigued by the music that was playing during that sequence. I was like, oh
yeah,
all right, live in the moment, don't worry about it. Just watch this stuff.
This show really pulled me into the moment in the whole ending sequence.
Oh yeah,
like
I was sucked right in.
Right when they cut to Katie Aselton in the house. Like when that scene started and through the whole sequence, my mouth was just like open.
Yeah.
And I was mesmerized. I was so mesmerized by it.
Okay, let's talk about that in a little bit. But that was fine. That was fine. I like that. That shit. Okay. They have that device. You find out that when Lenny and Oliver went to Division 3 and were like fucking making everyone at Ash, Oliver took that device, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so when they open up that coffin, and it was so weird. I remember being like, wait, like, is that supposed to be Amal Farouk's body, or is that like whose body is that supposed to be? Because I didn't think it was. I was very confused because obviously it's like a lady's like hand or just like skinny guy or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously you find out later it wasn't. But like I was so confused by that.
I thought it was a girl's hand.
Yeah.
That's what confused me because at the time in the episode they were kind of alluding that he was maybe digging up his own body.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I was for a second I was like, wait, was Amal Farouk a woman? Like a long fucking time ago.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be so cool.
But then obviously that's not what was going on.
That's not the case.
I think they were fucking with time in this episode. They were everything Amal and Oliver were doing happened before the sequences with the Lenny in the holding cell.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But they didn't clue you into that until the very end.
Yeah,
So
exactly. You had.
It was on purpose. Yeah.
It was a very easy way to lure you in without you knowing.
It was great.
Yeah, it was really good. So they zap the body with that thing, which I guess they suck out her life force or something. I don't know what the fuck. Get some DNA.
I guess that's what they were doing, like getting her DNA.
Yeah.
Which is
her soul.
Well, so like suppose he's got her soul, right? Like trapped with him. So I guess that's like kind of what they're insinuating. So then we'll get into what he does at the end, but like I have some questions on what that was.
Okay, so obviously the body is Lenny. The body is Lenny.
Yeah.
So like, what are you thinking? Just go for it, dude.
Okay, yeah, we're talking about the episode, right? People should have watched this, right? I don't know why we're okay. So it seemed to me like he mixed the two of them, and now the Lenny that we're seeing, the physical Lenny, is the Lenny that was trapped with the Shadow King that knew David, as well as his sister. Like her mind is still there.
Yeah.
So they're both together now, and so now it's Aubrey Plaza with fucking crazy blue like eyes, but it's actually both of them mixed. Like he just combined the two. So it's like a chimera kind of thing.
I love her like being like, I'm not a villain. Like I just like do drugs. Like, sometimes you gotta smash fucking brick through a window.
You gotta pretend to suck a guy's John, and then have him, your pimp, hold him up with a rubber gun. He's just sitting there begging for his life. And
suck a guy's John.
Yeah, whatever. I don't think she
dick,
said
Chase.
I don't think she said dick though.
I think she did.
She might have. I'm so desensitized to cursing in shows that she might have said it.
You just thought she said John.
I censored it because I thought the show censored it. I don't remember. I almost said dick.
MALSV, Chase. All I gotta say. Oh my God. So Autonomy comes and talks to Lenny. That's some crazy shit.
That was one of the better parts in the episode. I mean, the whole episode's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
That was one of the parts in the episode that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, I did enjoy it very much. There's some weird shit going on there.
Yeah, loved it.
He's talking about how there's no present to her.
Yeah,
only the past and future, and he like relates it to the speed of light and how many things happen to have to happen like for your body to react.
Yeah, to like
that.
actually register what's happening in the present, and by the time you registered the present, it's already past, even if it's like millionths of a second. So there is no actual present. It's just we're experiencing the past or the future.
Yeah, it's great. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it's very easy to understand too. They did it very well. I was just like, oh yeah,
complex idea.
Kind of, yeah. I agree.
Just a little mind bending, like psychedelic thought.
Yeah. So Lenny's like, okay, so you remember everything, right? He's like, yeah. She covers her eyes and she's like, what color are my eyes? And he's like, brown. And she's like, no. And it's like, blue. What the fuck? And
okay, so that made me think that his sister was talking for a second. Like she was like coming out in some of that conversation, like trying to lead him to like, hey, it's not just Lenny here.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, by calling attention.
Yeah,
to the
because they kind of have like the Carrie thing going on now.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like I don't know if they'll ever be able to separate, but now they're both kind of in there.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I mean, I think that they're both kind of in there.
Yeah,
you don't get a definitive. Answer.
But I would think so as well, honestly. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
He didn't like outright kill his sister, so and I mean obviously Lenny's appearance changed and it like showed her morphing and stuff. I feel like she's there because David kept getting flashes of his own childhood.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So her definitely her memories are like in there, and it's like
it's probably her too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. So is he gonna like go into that mind? Do you think that might be what's happening? I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Maybe not, but like, what if he went in their mind and Lenny and his sister's like joint brain? What would happen if he went in the Carrie's brains?
I don't know. Now I want to know.
Right? That needs to happen.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
That'd be such a good scene.
Yeah, that'd be a great episode to do. Just him inside the Carries.
It's just jumping everyone's brain in the series.
See what that's all like in there.
Oh my god.
I think Autonomy's brain would be a trip fest.
Yeah. Well, they showed some of it. It was pretty fucking weird and great. Yeah. It was honestly gorgeous though. I love whatever.
His flower garden.
Carrie just be like, this is beautiful. She's like saying like she's not evil Lenny to Autonomy and shit. And he starts reading like her memories pretty much.
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of weird shit going on. You start seeing the delusion.
Yeah, so it like shows the memory of her with the grandma on the story she just told of like,
yes.
but it's like jumpy and kind of done almost like Twin Peaksy or Lynchian or something, where it's like this really wide angle lens and everything feels off and it's jumping around, you know, like when it falls the can to the little girl and it's like it felt like a horror movie for a second.
For sure. It was even playing that like from like season 1.
Yeah,
like I feel like we haven't heard that sound yet in this season.
Yeah, that we know. I don't think
the first time I was like, oh yeah,
yeah. I was like, oh.
Love that sound. Yeah.
That always meant something crazy was about to happen.
Yeah.
But then that's when we see like the blood dripping on the date or on the sunflowers, and those were sunflowers, I think.
I believe so. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Anyways, well, it probably has some significance if knowing Noah Hawley, but the blood dripping on those, and then like probably a couple other weird images, and then it like goes into Ptolemy's. What seems to be it goes in, like reverses on Ptolemy, like they're inside his head now, and that's when we see the delusion bird
crawling back into his head.
Yeah,
and then we go see the fucking basket case man. It's like
basket face.
His head's like all lit up. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
And they just keep on zooming in, and then it goes through the basket, and then there's like a bird-like fucking crazy ass creature
Monster.
That's like the delusion all grown up in basket head's fucking body.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's nuts.
For a second when it like cut to that where his head's glowing and stuff, it's in like that dark void area, and I thought it was gonna be like, it made me think of when David was talking to Sid for the first time in the ball, and then when he showed the light, I was like, oh shit, is he gonna have some like kind of weird future experience now too? But then it shows, you know, Admiral Fukuyama, whatever its name is, turning, and it's actually the delusion inside. But that's what that black void area reminded me of, and it's making me wonder. It made me wonder after the scene if maybe the future Sid is part of David's delusion.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just making me question a bunch of shit.
That's so true. It's a good parallel. It's just like, I don't know what that has to do with, if I'm supposed to think like Admiral Fukuyama is like some weird fucking thing, or like it's so like what's real and what's metaphor, what's art.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, the whole thing's art, but I don't know what's reliable. Like I don't know who's reliable yet. I don't know which who's an unreliable narrator, who's knows what's actually going on, or like clued into what the reality actually is, and what a lot of the major players' motivations are.
Yeah, or like, what like that is actually supposed to make you believe.
Yeah,
you know, like there's some things where like it's perfectly clear. Like, okay, I'm supposed to think that. Like he does a very good job with that. But the show does a great job of leading you down those moments and then completely negating, like purposefully negating everything that they intentionally led you to believe. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Every episode this season has like gone back and gone, oh, you thought this was happening from the last episode? Never mind. Never mind. And it's done that a lot. Yeah. It's, oh my God. It's so nuts. I honestly like they're like going off on tangents in like characters and stuff that I'm like, we haven't seen this character in so long. What is happening with them? Like, we need to get some shit. They're all in like brain worlds and shit. Yeah. Like, oh my God. Yeah. It gets so internalized. These episodes become so internalized with different, like a different set of characters almost every single time. Yeah. Like we get one shot of Melanie in this episode. Oh, that's true. And it was fucking awesome. But so let's talk about that for a second. When it shows Melanie, it's Oliver in the car, and he looks like kind of like Amal's in the back seat, and then Oliver looks off, like he's looking off in the distance, and then it cuts to a reverse shot of Melanie, and it looks like she's in the pool area. It's a pretty close-up shot, but it looks like she's in the pool area from the astral plane when David and Amal were talking
from the last episode when Aubrey Plaza shot the bubbles, right? And it's like her and it's like she notices Oliver. And it cuts back to Oliver and he like reacts to that look. And then it cuts back to Melanie and I forget what's being said, but what's being said is like setting a tone. And then Melanie kind of gets this like concerned look on her face, or this like almost like angry. It's like this really subtle change in the way she's like reacting to Oliver. And it cuts back to Oliver and his face has changed. Like there's some kind of determination on his face.
Yeah.
And then it waits a beat and then he looks back at them all and he goes, hey, you know I'm gonna kill you, right? And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And that's the only time we see Melanie this whole episode.
Well, he says later on that he knows his weakness. So if there was some sort of communication between Melanie and Oliver, you know, like if she kind of gave him, you know, she found something out. I don't know. It could be something like that, obviously, because that would change his demeanor towards Farouk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, why did she look like she was in the astral plane? Obviously, they had some kind of conversation between the two of them through those looks. The way that was cut together was too like, it was like they were having this like conversation between their eyes, and the actors are so good that their facial expressions like set a tone. They told me something, whether or not I know what it means, and the dialogue happening underneath it, which I can't remember and I'm sure is important to what was happening. I'm sure it is. But then right after that, he just looks at them all, and they've been getting along in this sequence and kind of going back and forth and having this nice back and forth.
I wouldn't say they've been getting along. I'd say that Shadow King is
in this scene
manipulating him.
Yeah, for sure. But in this scene, they've had a nice back and forth. It's been like it's had like a. But he just looks at him. You know, I'm going to kill you. And then the way he said it.
Yeah. Well, they start talking about morality.
Yeah,
he's like, "What do you think about the morality of this?" And he's like, "Morality, morality." It's like, "Oh yes, morality."
It's like he forgot.
I love that part about his character.
He's great. Yeah,
it's like he just like describes things in one way, and it's like he's like, "It's very obscene." No, maybe not obscene.
More like irreverent. Yeah, irrelevant. Yeah,
yeah. Life and death is irrelevant.
What were we talking about? That whole sequence was great.
Yeah. Oh, it was
the
whole
monologue.
God. I honestly am gonna watch this episode like again very soon, like probably tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it this week.
It's so good. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
I might go back and watch a couple of the other episodes again, because at this point I'm just like, I need to remind myself of all the little details. It's been.
I've watched them all twice.
I haven't watched them all twice.
I think I've watched maybe another one 3 times or something.
Hey,
good stuff. And then we get an Olive Garden commercial after that.
We get another car commercial with John Hamm.
We get an Olive Garden commercial that says, "It's the biggest news ever." Come down to Olive Garden, grab some fucking meatballs.
Look at our fucking pasta that's filled with cheese. Look at these meatballs.
It's like, fuck. All right, let's get back to Legion. So opens back up, and Lenny's got like her face down. She's in that room, and then David's just across from her, like laughing, and then she's laughing. It's like super weird. And I honestly was like, is this really David? Like,
oh, same.
Yeah,
dude,
I was like,
same.
Is this like some evil fucking weird projection or something?
Yeah, same.
It was super weird how he was acting.
It was crazy. Yeah, he looked a little different too. His hair's longer.
Yeah. But then it kind of gets back into the swing of things, and you're like, oh, this is probably David. And he's like just wondering if Lenny, like who the fuck Lenny is, if she's still working for like Farouk, whose body that is and stuff. And she's kind of working for Farouk, she says, but she doesn't want to be.
Yeah. She's like she admits that she still has some kind of connection to him, but
and he like says he can protect her, and she's like, oh, like, yeah, okay. And he tries to like read her mind, like, and
Every time he does.
and there's a flash of him and his sister and the dog.
Yeah.
King.
Yeah.
Whatever the dog's real name was. I think it was King, but scary.
Well, the dog didn't exist. King,
yeah, at all.
King was
the Shadow King.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what the fuck? Whose body is this? And that's like, immediately I was just like, it's probably his fucking sister's body.
Yeah, you said it out loud, and when you said it, I was like, I think that's probably right too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
totally. And we find out we're right. Let us talk about so the conversation between Oliver and Farouk about like the whole like, I'm gonna kill you. I know your weakness. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, my weakness, huh? Ha 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 ha. Like, you're silly, entertaining. Tell me. And he's like, no, I'm not going to tell you. He's like, give me a hint. He's like, you can have a hint. And he's like, what is 1 + 1? 2. Incorrect. And like, oh, you are very tricky. Like, I'm just like, I want to know what the fuck that means, and I can't wait till there's a payoff to 1 + 1 not being 2. I want to know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, they don't really tell you. He just starts laughing. But then it's, now that I'm thinking about it, that has something to do with them combining the two girls.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, 1 + 1. What is that? And he goes 2, and he goes incorrect. And it's almost like they're making a joke about combining the two women. And it doesn't make 2, it makes 1.
Yeah.
1 + 1 makes 1.
Yeah, perhaps, honestly.
Like a joke about what they're about to do.
How is that his weakness? Something. Oh, I don't know. It's crazy shit.
I don't know.
It's crazy fucking shit. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, though. That's good. So they followed the Dead Sea Donuts truck to this house that's like guarded by all these people. I was literally like, where the fuck are they? Like, what is this house?
So like in the Dead Sea, right? Is that what they were suggesting, or are they just in the middle of the desert?
I don't know. I don't know where the fuck Oliver's going. Like, is he going to the fucking Dead Sea?
Yeah, I didn't know people could live in the Dead Sea.
Are they all the way in the Dead Sea? Like, it didn't seem like. It seemed like they're just in the fucking desert.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure they
somewhere.
were just in California.
Yeah,
but.
for sure. Well, they're definitely in California shooting this.
Yeah.
But that shit's weird.
Yeah.
But you see, like, keeps on flashing through like so many different timelines in this. But you see Lenny's body get up, right? Like Lenny wakes up
In the grave. Yeah, and climbs out, and then, excuse me, I guess that they like put her there.
I don't know. That's where her body was. Like,
yeah, but then we see her change on the table.
oh, that's true. Oh yeah. You're right.
Unless
You're right.
there's two bodies.
Yeah.
There's one in the desert and one.
Well, yeah, that's true, because they left the body, they zapped the body,
yeah,
and then they put it inside of fucking his sister. The body was still there, and the body in the desert woke up.
Like with the, yeah.
He got on a horse.
Yeah. So there's two Lennys.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't think about that at all till just now. I was like, wait, I don't know what they did. What the fuck?
Don't know the mechanics of this. But I know what I saw.
Yes. Oh my God. So also the guy who comes back, I don't even know what the fuck David's sister's name is.
I just call her Katie Hazelton.
Yeah.
That's her name in real life.
So Katie has a fucking, is it her husband? Is it a different husband or what?
So
it's a different guy.
Yeah, it didn't look like the guy from the first season.
It's not. It's definitely not. I watched the first season, like episode 1, like a week ago. It's definitely not him.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck's going on there.
I don't know.
That was a little confusing. I didn't know if I was supposed to like be paying attention to that or not.
See, for a second, I thought like maybe she was in a like like she was in some kind of mind world, like dream world
Yeah.
or dream state or something. And then she's like, because the way it was filmed was so dreamlike, like the set was dreamlike.
Yeah.
Like everything about that whole sequence was dreamlike. And he comes walking in, he grabs a beer from the fridge and he sits down, and then she starts telling him about a dream and the way they've shot it through the flowers. Everything about that felt unreal to me, which I guess the show is going for. Most of the show feels like that. But like in particular, this whole sequence, I didn't recognize the guy. And like, I don't know, something about it made me feel like she's describing this dream to this guy, and then it's going to be her in a dream.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
means
that's true.
It's not what happened.
But it wasn't. But yeah, it did seem very dreamlike.
But the whole sequence was so beautiful. Her describing that dream. What does she say? She says she had a mustache, and
it was like singing. There was a singing voice, and it was like the Vermilion voice, pretty much is what she said was singing, just because it was all like auto-tuned. And like how she did it was so awesome. She was like, "We are the machine that bleeds." Like, it was so cool.
Yeah,
Like,
we are the organizing principle. And she like comes out the last part. Yeah, and then the guy sits there and he's just like, "Huh," and she's like, "What?" And I was like, for a second, I was like, he was gonna say he had the same dream or something like that.
I thought that he was gonna be like someone that was like planted there and like almost like a spy, and he was like, "Oh shit, she like knows too much or something." Like, I was like, this shit's just like playing in her dreams. Okay, that's no good.
So, and for a second, I thought he might have been the Shadow King taking a different form, and like insinuating himself to her, where she thinks she knows him as her husband, so she doesn't question it, but it's actually somebody she's never seen before, and it's one of those like illusions that he's pulling, but it wasn't that
But
either.
they fucking ashed his ass.
And the way they did it was so
was
haunting.
fucking amazing.
Haunting
That
as
sequence
fuck.
from then on, like once all the guards are gone and everything, and is it her husband,
Yeah.
air quotes, is like, "Stay here," and goes to the door, and then shortly after the door is just swinging.
You kind
And
of hear a
she's-
bottle drop.
And she's like walking over. The camera movement of her just walking over is so simple, and it was just fucking gorgeous. It was so gorgeous.
It was beautiful. It was beautifully executed.
Yeah.
But it made it even more surreal with what he said after she described her dream, when he was like, when he started saying, do you know the feeling of something terrible's about to happen,
Oh yeah,
but it hasn't happened yet.
that's true. I didn't even think about that
And
either.
then he's like, I think it's dread. It's best described as dread. And then the whole scene, you have this weird clicking thing and this shadow crossing their faces at like a rhythm. And it really set this like unreal tone as well. Like everything about the way the scene was done made me feel uncomfortable, with that constant clicking and this like shadow that's crossing across the window and across their faces and through the light. And then he says that, and it's really quiet, and you just hear the wind and this clicking, and then the wind picks up and the clicking stops, and they both react to it. And he runs to the window, and it was like, and then he goes and he basically goes to his death, which just the whole sequence made me feel this really like haunting uncomfortability too.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Like you really
so
felt that
she-
he was about to die. You felt his dread.
Yeah, she goes down, checks out the ashes, and then she hears the sink turn on.
Yeah.
And that's just classic fucking horror right there.
Yep.
And
But it's so slow in this, and the reveal is slow.
it is so good.
Yeah.
And she's walking into the kitchen, and Oliver's just singing "Happy Birthday," and it's so fucking creepy as shit.
And then when he finished washing his hands, he's washing his hands. When he finishes, he just holds them up to his chest like and they're out, like he's about to like dry them off. Like it's that position you take when you're about to go, like a fancy person takes when they're about to go dry their hands, but he never puts them down or dries his hands. And he just holds them up for the rest of the scene, and it's so fucking uncomfortable.
It is. I fucking love it so much.
Fantastic acting choice, or directing choice, or whoever decided that was a good decision. But like, great.
Jermaine,
I'm
like,
sure he
dude, I
did.
fucking love him. I love him so much. He's so fucking good.
He's
like,
great.
Everything he does, I'm just like, dude, keep going. This guy fucking rules.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He nails every scene he's in.
It's crazy how he has inserted himself into just such awesome shit. And like I don't know, like just from him doing like Flight of the Conchords, you wouldn't think of like a musical comedian to really break out into acting, like,
and do something that's this subtle and serious and with range. Like this role for him has some range, even though he's in it minimally. I mean, he's in it a good bit, but like he's got dancing, he's got comedy, he's got like drama, like a villain. Like he plays all these different
badass roles. Now,
yeah,
he's like my favorite.
You'd never think that guy was the spokesperson for Outback.
He is?
15 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, we'll watch the ads after this.
Oh my god,
they're hilarious.
That I'm sure. Like
it's like Flight of the Conchords. It's like a year before Flight of the Conchords or something.
That's hilarious. Oh my god. Holy shit. So Oliver starts fucking levitating the sister, and she's fucking screaming. It's so crazy how like stiff he keeps her, almost like you can see her mouth moving and screaming and shit, but she's just so rigid. Fucking stiff and rigid.
The sound design was crazy in that sequence too, because there was someone else either screaming or laughing.
It sounded like a man.
Yeah. And then then you really subtly hear her screaming in the background, like from far away, it sounds like, until where the camera's right over her face. And then we hear her like full on screaming. But even that's kind of like drowned out just a bit. It was crazy.
It was fucking insane. So puts her on the table. Amal Farouk is there. They zap her. It sounds very painful.
It looks painful.
Looks very painful. That whole sequence where he's doing that and it's just closing in on Oliver's face, like fucking amazing again. Like so good,
so crazy. And then cutting to David screaming and realizing what's going on.
Yeah,
and then cutting back to the face of Katie Aselton, and it like really graphically morphing into Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
But like it's done in these like kind of quick cuts, and then Aubrey Plaza, Katie Aselton mix in the present or whatever. It's not the present, you know. That's the fucking show. In the fucking holding cell, and just being like, what's going on? And it's like all happening, like it's all cutting between this in one sequence. Perfectly executed, perfectly. Like you completely follow what's happening.
Yeah, it was another episode that I was like, it gave me a lot of questions, but I was like, okay, I feel like I got everything though. Like,
I'm following it.
I've got some questions, but I don't think I missed anything. Jesus.
I at the end of the episode, I felt like I understood what I needed to understand.
Yeah.
Because like obviously we're not supposed to have figured everything out yet, and the show wouldn't be achieving what it's supposed to be achieving if we knew exactly what was happening right now.
And we're not gonna figure out shit next week.
I don't think we're gonna get anywhere next week.
Oh my god. So David at the end of the episode, mad at the Shadow King for being such a fucking dick.
Yeah.
Said he's gonna be a nice guy and promising and shit. Like little kids do.
Yeah. They made a gentleman's pact.
It has either murdered his sister or just put another body
on top of her.
On top of hers.
With another personality in there too.
Yeah. And the surface personality isn't hers.
Yeah. So
put her inside of a meth addict's body.
Yeah. But an everything addict's body.
Gotta come to Thanksgiving now.
I can't get rid of this girl. So David's rightfully pissed about that, and I don't fucking blame him. But that final fucking line when a camera comes in right on his face, and he says, "I'm coming for you," and it's in his head.
Yeah.
It's like coming out to the Shadow King. You hear the Shadow King laughing faintly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you hear him going,
Like Bowser?
yeah, kind of. Yeah. But it was like quiet. Yeah. But you hear him laughing, and then he just goes, I'm coming for you. And it ends on that Shadow King laughter.
I did not see that. I did miss,
I'll pull it back up.
miss something. That's fantastic.
It was so subtle
love
and
that.
fantastic.
It's like he sent a little email out of his brain.
Yep. And I got
received immediately.
and responded to.
Wow.
Wow.
The one thing that we did not talk about is the little part. I don't even think it's told by John Hamm. Excuse me. When they say Chapter 6 conspiracy,
That was John Hamm.
it was John Hamm. I feel like there was another narrator at one point in this.
It was always John Hamm. I remember
There was
listening.
something going on.
I remember listening to another podcast talking about the show that also thought the first narrator was not John Hamm, but it is John Hamm in all of it.
Oh, I thought it was John Hamm in all of it, but there was one part of this. I don't think it was that part. I swear there was something else going on where someone else was narrating something. It was the Autonomy scene, because before they show Autonomy, he's talking about something. I don't know what the fuck. I think it's when he's talking about no present.
Okay.
When he's talking about no present, like you don't see him in the room
Yeah.
first. So I was like, who the fuck's talking?
Yeah. That was probably what it was.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
There is a lot of like people talking over like shots that aren't.
Yeah,
of
and he's
this
explaining
person.
shit. So I was like, okay, all right, this is just narration. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Fine. Where's John Hamm?
Wait, what happened to John Hamm?
But John Hamm's talking about conspiracy. I thought that was so fucking interesting.
Yeah.
How he's talking about people see faces in clouds and wood and like the whole Jesus and toast shit.
Yeah.
And then like he talks about just the evolution of animals, like how we became humans, and like pattern recognition.
And yeah, and how our survival was dependent on recognizing patterns, and now we're in this day and age where we're still looking for patterns, but we don't necessarily need it to survive anymore.
Yeah. And so coincidence turns to conspiracy.
Yeah, because people misinterpret everyday mundane things, and like he kind of goes through all these different like applications of the information that we get, and like what like random chance and all this kind of stuff that plays into like our perceptions of the world. And then how people can now misinterpret coincidence for conspiracy because they're looking for that pattern. And they're going to find the pattern that they're predisposed to find. So like that's where that was a great sequence.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah. I feel like all of the sorry. I feel like
Whipping out knives.
it's just something to do with my hands. I feel like all of these little asides that John Hamm has been narrating that are essentially preceded by these chapter notations, because obviously that has nothing to do with the chapters in the that the episode is. Because it's chapter 13, but like in this episode it said it was chapter 6, but each of these John Hamm narrations is preceded by like I think the first one's chapter 2. I think this season starts with a chapter 2.
Yeah, it did.
So like I guess they're basically saying the whole first season is chapter 1.
Yeah, and then we just got like chapters going through.
Yeah, and then this is just
entire
like
season.
Yeah, they've been rapidly progressing through chapters in this season.
Fucking me all up on the chapters.
They are fucking me up with some of these chapters, but I feel like by the end of the season, all of these John Hamm asides are gonna have some like overall major point.
Yeah. They're all so fucking amazing. Like John Hamm needs to be on like a new Twilight Zone show, just as Rod Serling.
Totally. He needs to host like the next.
He'd be so perfect for it.
Yeah, he'd be the best.
I would love that shit. Well, he was already in Black Mirror. That's kind of the same thing, but
Yeah, but
he
he's
needs
only
to be
in
a host.
He's only in one special.
He needs to literally host it like that shit.
He needs that. We need another show where there's it's sketch horror with the narrator who shows up.
Sketch horror.
Sketch horror. That's Twilight Zone's sci-fi and horror sketch show.
It's not sketch.
It's anthology, but who gives a shit what word you use? It's a sketch.
sketch.
It's a sketch.
I don't know. I think you're undercutting Twilight Zone.
I know. They're fully fledged and fully like.
It's just
realized.
a fucking sketch.
It's a sketch.
It's SNL.
It's a fully realized sketch.
All right. Anything else to say about this? I don't think so.
No, I think we got through most everything in
Yeah.
this that one. I'm most confused and upset by the stay tuned for. I'm gonna say that. It's like,
If you didn't see the stay tuned for, please just go watch it.
yeah.
You can find it for
I'm not
sure.
gonna talk about what
Yeah,
it said, but
'cause
like
we don't know what to fucking talk about.
we don't know what any of it's gonna mean, and I'm not gonna describe it to you. So just watch it. But like, it upset me.
Like, oh, that's gonna happen?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It doesn't upset me, and like I look forward to seeing whatever the fuck that's
absolutely.
gonna be. Like I'm very excited for it, but it upsets me in a way that like because it makes me question everything I know so far. Just on those 30 seconds or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
it was.
for sure.
Yeah.
Homeless David. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast.
Thank you so much.
You can find us all over the internet.
We're everywhere.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.